Hello and welcome to this new section, which is part 2 of module 5. So here we will see how to create the DAX, how to build up these DAX functions, how to use the functionalities of calculate, and in a simplistic way we will learn how to develop these kind of measures. So one by one we will see how this functions work, date and time and all these stuff work actually. So we will see an example and we will see time periods, mainly the time periods thing we will be seeing over here. So let's move to the demo basically. So let's see. So we have the options of creating calendars also. So I mean directly using your M query, you can create these kind of calendars with this data as well. We can have aggregations and comparisons also. So we will see different methods what is used actually. So working day calculations and other things. So we will be seeing. So let's have a quick understanding as at our first instances of creating DAX functions. So creating DAX functions as a measure actually. So we have already created the measures container. So what we need to do is, so let's begin this journey. So first of all, what we will do is, so let's take an example. This, we just call this as DAXing. I mean, this is the field where we will be testing all our DAX functions, maybe, right? Something like this. So now what happens is we start creating some of the DAX functions which are related to, let's say, just calculating some of the sum and products or something like this. So we go, so suppose if you just go to our tables, so the major section goes to this fact orders and we have something called this freight, which can be calculated as the sum. So we just have a quick understanding. Then we have products. So products also have some of the places where we can calculate, we can do some kind of calculations. And then we have customers, we have suppliers, they all can be aggregated, I mean as a part of our data understanding. Now what happens is this aggregation, before we begin anything out of here, the first thing that we need to do is there is a requirement of a particular table which can talk to these dates as well. So that is the first and foremost things before we jump on to the measures part of it and we start creating the calculated measures and formulas and other things. So the first part would be to create a table which will be used for doing any kind of calculation. So we go to modeling and here we will see there is an option. This is the third option from this button menus that we have got over here. So the second one says create a column using DAX, which we will be doing in some time. But the first thing is we will be creating a DAX for creating a table. So now what happens is we create and it automatically sits over here as a table. So this is for the date and time calculations actually. So we say that this is, I just take something like this, dim date. So I call it as dim date. Now dim date actually allows us to create, I mean in using this dim date, what we will do is we will create a calendar format. So the basic option is we can use this option called calendar auto. So calendar auto, if I just start and end, I mean just give this bracket. So you can see that though we have created the measures container, we are not doing anything within measures because measures is a part of the entire exercise where we are defining the formulas. Here what is happening is we are still defining a table which will hold all the related dates that can be used to slice and dice this data. So we say calendar auto. So this is the first DAX function that we are writing and you can see that automatically it moves over here as a dim date, and I should have given dim underscore date just to maintain this similarity. So you can see automatically dim date sits over here. Now we would definitely like to see what is the content of this dim date. So we go to the data and we look at dim date's content. So dim date, by default, what happens is, because we have used calendar auto, so calendar auto has actually assigned the date and time from the entire database. So it has understood the columns of each and every table wherever there is a date column, and it picked up the minimum date and then picked up the maximum date, and then if the minimum year, whatever the year is, let's say in our case the year is 1996, so it went to giving the allocations of date from the 1st of January, which means the calendar date, first day, and up to, if you notice, it will go till the December of the, so it is going to the, there are more values also. So December, it will go to maybe the September or the December of that particular year till where the data is. So 1996 to 90, automatically it has taken this. So now, sometimes what happens is that we might say that, okay, I don't want to see the data, or I don't want to have the calendar from the calendar year. I'm talking about from 1st of January. We say that, okay, we have fiscal year starting from April, let's say. So I want my date to come from April and not from January. So what we need to do is, we just go here. You might have seen the moment we start the bracket, it says fiscal year end month. So then what happens is, you go here and say that, okay, my year end month is 3, which means March. And immediately you will see that this January becomes April. So let's see. It automatically becomes 1st of April instead of 1st of January. So this is the part of calendar auto. Now what happens is, I say that I want to create my own calendar. So calendar function also is available. So calendar function takes 2 parameters, start date and end date. So start date, I want to say that, okay, take the minimum. I want to create a date calendar based on only on the order date column that we have over here, let's say. So what we do is, I simply say like this, minimum of order date, comma, maximum of order date. So now what happens, it immediately looks into the order date column and then tries to find out the minimum of that particular date, and which is, let's say, 4th of July, and it assigns that, and the same thing happens with the maximum also. Now the point is that, should I be giving or passing these particular functions directly over here? The answer is no. We should not be doing it like this. So for that, what you need to do is, we need to specially design 2 measures and then pass on those things over here as a part of the calendar. How do we do it? So we now going to the container. This is the place where we will be using the container. So container will be used and the measures will be created as and when required. Whenever you require, you just start creating it. So what you do is, you go and say new measure. So this is a part of the new measure, and you can see that it automatically gets expanded. And now you say, so you have 2 choices. You can say start date, or we can say date start, or date underscore start. I will give you a reason behind this. So when you say date start, something like that. So when you say date start is what? Date start is same, minimum of order date. So I will be doing the same task over here. That's absolutely fine. So you will see date start comes over here. Then what I will do is, these are all best practices, and believe me, none of your videos, YouTube's courses, very few will talk about this. This only comes with direct enterprise data handling. So I have worked with various organizations across the world, and I have learned those best practices, and this is my masterclass. So I'm giving all of this for your knowledge, for your understanding. Keep these things in mind, and I can guarantee that everything that I am teaching over here in this particular platform will give you a big insight in terms of understanding the data and how do we actually build a model, and then finally we go to presentation and analysis and all these stuff we will be working on. Now what we do is we say date start and date end, and then we say max of order date. See what happens. Date end and date start will stay together. So consider that this measures container will have, let's say, 200 measures, and now you are searching for these two measures you want to search for, which is related to the start and end date. So you don't have to scroll, you have to just say okay, date, so I should find the start and the end in same place, like this, right? Now that I have got two components of the measure container, so what I can do is I can always delete the column 1 from the model. You don't require it anymore. So now it looks sleek, now it looks appropriate. Now what you need to do is when you go to your dim date calendar, the idea would be to simply remove this and pass my date start and date end, like this. So date start and date end. So now we see that we have got all these components. So now I will give you some very, very important understanding. So suppose we are going to date start, and I say that okay, I should not be starting from the first day, let's have some buffer of 30 days. So I can simply go here and say minus 30. Minus 30 means go to the first date of order, subtract and put, so earlier you saw 4th of July, now let's see what happens. I go minus 30. Similarly for date end, what I will do is I will keep a buffer and say plus 30. Done. Now when you go to your dim date, you will see that instead of July, 4th of July, now it is starting from 4th of June. So 30 days back it has happened, right? So June has 30 days, so that's why it has just brought into the previous. So now which means that you can manipulate your start date and end date directly from the container, and you don't have to go to the dimension of calendar to manage your calendar and days, and then it will become a bit messy. Why do we take that chance, right? So now we have to understand first of all that okay, are we seeing any probability of talking with the time over here? So we see that when we went to our orders table, when we looked at the date, we never saw anything related to time over here. So which means that our dim dimension also doesn't require any time. So what we can do is we can come to this particular column, and then what we can do is we can convert it only into date. So now it is a date. So now what we have done is we have created a table out of our dates. That's what we have done. Now what we need to do is, this is not one task that we need to do. This date calendar should have multiple features, options also. For example, we should be able to find out the week, the weekday, and all these things, right? So what we do is we go to a new column and we say that okay, I wanted to find out, so from the day, month, year, everything we can find out. So suppose usually it builds up a big calendar, and all we use is all the time intelligence functions, date and time intelligence functions into DAX to develop this particular table. This is the most important table. There are multiple ways. I mean, you can write a script also. These scripts are already available. But I would suggest that first of all try this in a usual simplistic way. If I would have directly showcased you that copy this code and then paste it, it will not make sense. Now when you are building it one by one, we will go back to the advanced editor and then we will see what kind of changes it is making over there. Anyways, this table is a direct table. You will not see it in Power Query. Those all factors also we will be looking into, right? So now we say that I want to figure out the day. So we call it as, let's say, cal day, right? So cal day, I just want to take the day part of it. So I can always say day, and then now here what we will do is we want the date. So but if you notice over here, date is already a function or something, right? A defined function, system defined functions. So though I can get the date over here, but it is always suggested that when you have this kind of scenario, always have an assignment something like this. Let's say cal date. So cal date, now it makes some sense. When you go to cal day, you will see that automatically it has changed to cal date. So you don't have to do anything again. Like cal day, so what we will do is we will click again new column, and we will make this entire calendar over here. So now we have cal month, and we will obviously mention over here. So cal month is equal to month of cal date. So it will give me the number. Absolutely fine. Sometimes what happens is you might require the word, the text format. So what you have to do is, here it's a bit tricky one. So we can say cal month name. Cal month name would be is equal to, we can simply say there's a function called format, and then we say I require the cal date, and then I will say that I require the format. So this is again based on Excel. So that's what I told you, that Excel, you know Excel, so that's the prerequisite of this entire program. So there you have a function called text. Here you have a function called format. So DDDD, if you use if you just use DDDD, then it will give you Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So here I am talking about MMMM. MMMM means it will give you the month. Let's try this. So now it says cal month name. Then what we will have is, we will say new column again. So now you can see how I am building this. So now I say that cal day. So cal day name, let's say. So cal day name. So cal day we have given, cal day name also we should be having. So now what we will do is, we will say cal day name is equal to, again we can use the same function format, and we can use the calendar date, and then we can use DDDD, which is the format for the day. So you can see day. Now the question arises, only do you have this day, month and something like this? We say no, there are other components also. So let's take an example how we can use simple mathematical functions and other things to work as dates, something like this. Suppose I want to have this day as a weekend and a weekday, something like this. So what we will do is, we will now go to a new column, and then we say that weekday, and there is a function called weekday, and then we can say cal date, and it works. It works perfectly, weekday. Similarly, we have another weekday name, and here also what we do is, we will use the same format, and then we will be using that same cal day. So you can see from a single date how I am building up the calendar. So these all things can be done within a script, but this is an easier technique to work. And then we say okay, so sorry, the weekday is already there. So weekday we have dot, and weekday name is also we have got. So what we wanted to do over here is, so see if you notice over here, so we have already used the day function. So this is the day function. We have the day and we have the day name also, both the things. So month name, day name, both the things we have got, and the day also and the month also we can similarly have. So actually speaking, what I should be doing is I should be putting them in order actually. So let me just bring all of them. So first of all, we should have the day, then we should have the month. So month is there, and then I would rather require. So what I can do is I can just move it over here for the time being, and weekday also. So they should be following a pattern actually. So here, instead of cal day name, so first of all what we will do is we just want to because if you try to create something over here, so first of all we need to have the date, then we have the month, month name, then we should have the year, and then it follows. I mean, we can have the cal day name and weekday and all these things, and then weekend and all those details can come. So there is no hard and fast rule, but actually just for a benefit, what we can do is instead of this, we can say cal year, and then what you can do is we can use the function called year, and we bring the cal date, and the moment we do this, you will see that the weekday will be affected if you use this particular function, associate it with some other place. So weekday, now it is there. So weekday and weekday in the name also we would like to see. So what we do is we go back and say, so we can create a new column, and then we can simply paste it, and it should give me this understanding. So this much we are done. So mainly we are done with all these things. So date, month, calendar and everything. Now I'm going to show you another example wherein you will be creating a column, but that column will be actually to find out whether it's a weekend or a regular weekday. So let's say we simply say weekend. So either whether it's a weekend or not. So for that, definitely we will be using the if condition, and we are saying that. So you can see that over here, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, so let's take an example. I'm talking from a perspective of let's say GCC countries or UAE countries. So Friday and Saturday is a weekend. So how do we use that? So you can see, we will see over here, we'll say cal just a moment, sorry. So ideally speaking, before we go here, so everything we should be making it as with the cal, so that it doesn't create any confusion. Here we are creating some confusions. So now it is fine. So cal weekday, so makes sense over here. So now what we will do is we will go to new column and we'll say whether it is a cal weekend, and then what we can do is we can say if, and then we say if the cal weekday is greater than 5, which means it is 6 and 7, then we call it as, so we say it as true. True means that, okay, it is a weekday. So if it is weekend, so then if it is more than 5, it will say weekend. Let's try this. Very simple function. So now you can see over here, if it is a Friday and a Saturday, it is obviously giving true, and rest all it is giving us false, something like this, right? So we were able to create a complete calendar format. So this calendar could be used for various other purposes also. You can create the same thing like a quarter also. So let's take an example. We have 12 months and we wanted to create a quarter, let's say calqtr. So calqtr is like what? I mean, when you take up a particular month, so we have the month. So what we need to do is we need to just divide it by 3 so that you get the, so what you simply say is divide, and we say cal month by 3. Sorry, cal month by 3. And let's see what happens. Yeah. So now you can see that it gives me that June is there. So June is, so suppose let's take an example of the January, February and the March one. See, let's see what happens. So January, February and March one comes under this, but there are some other parameters also which it is following. So 1, 2, 3, something like this. So what we need to do is we have multiple options to find out this details actually. So we have something called mod function which we will be using over here. So we have the number, so we take it as cal month, and then what we do is the divisor would be, let's say 3, and let's see what happens now. So now what happens is you will see that it gives me 0, 1, 2. So if you talk about 1, 2, 3 over here, so it gives me 0, 1, 2. So which is not the case what we wanted. So definitely so here what happens is you can see whatever is the month, the quarter is also showing the same month, which should not be the case. So ideally what we need to do is we need to actually go to the divide. I mean, if you just notice it from the perspective of Excel, so let's just have a quick understanding on this. So what we are trying to do is we have 1, 2 like this, and what we want is to bring in the, so this is my month and this is my quarter. So what we want is, so this 1, 2, 3 should say 1 only. So then what we need to do is we need to say is equal to, and we say this divided by, if you say 3, then what happens is it goes to 0.3. Now if I just go and say to ceiling of this particular number, so let's see, automatically you will see that the first 1, 2, 3 has become 1, and then we have 2, then we have 3, and then we have 4. So it works perfectly fine. Now we have to find out what is the equivalent of ceiling in our DAX function, right? So now what we need to do is we definitely need to say divide, and the numerator would be the cal month over here, and the denominator is definitely number 3. Now what we need to do is we need to find out the function which is related to ceiling. So we see that the ceiling is also there. So we can see what is the linkage between Excel over here, and we say 1, we press enter, and now if I see the quarter 1, 2, 3 months, so the QTR has to be 1 because we have already checked it in Excel. So we can just randomly check 10, 11, 12, it should say quarter 4. Sometimes you might want to have it in a format, something like this. You might want to say that, let me call it as Q ampersand. So which means it will say Q1, Q2, something like this. Let's see. See, what has happened is it calculated itself as month as a number, right? So let me just sorry, we did it as Q over here. We should not be doing this over here. It was supposed to be in quarter, so we clicked over here. So we need to be a bit careful about this. So now you can see it becomes Q2, Q3, something like this. So quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. Always remember, so even if you have Q1, Q2, Q3 like this, you need to have, so we call it as, let's say we can call it as cal QTR text. This is one part, is absolutely fine, but you should still have another function, another new column. I will give you the reason behind it. And the one which is only based on the numbers. Sometimes what happens is that when you are using this particular columns for any kind of your chart development, what happens is the sorted, the order of these numbers might not fall in place. So suppose if you are trying to put it in terms of a quarter, it will not come properly. So it will say maybe Q3 or Q1, or suppose it happens majorly in terms of the month. So the month is not falling in place properly, right? So we will see that in detail in this module itself. So now that we have got enough data into our calendar, the next task would be actually to convert this. So we have the dimension over here. So convert this in the sense we need to attach this with my fact. So you can see that we have the cal date, and this cal date should go to order date. So we want to connect the order date with the cal date, and you can see it has captured automatically one to many, which means that any date might have multiple numbers over there in the fact orders. We have a choice. We can also go and say cal date should also sometimes connect to required date, and you will see that automatically it creates an inactive column in a layer. And the same thing you can do for the ship date also. So you can see all of them are connecting to these dates over here. All of them are connecting to the same date, but two of them are inactive. Now I'll give you a reason why we do this. Sometimes you might have to switch between the order date and the ship date and other dates also. So in that case, this dimension makes a big impact. I mean, this kind of relationship makes an impact over there. Within the formula also, you can switch over this particular DAX as well. So let me know if you have any questions on top of those. There are very, advanced level things that are happening using DAX nowadays, right? So you can see that we created a calendar and we are ready to harness the power of this calendar within our data. So we have created the start date, end date, and all these things. So now what we do is we wanted to just check how this date works. So for checking this, we have to create one measure over here, which could be anything. Let's say I take up the sum of the freight, which is nothing but the revenue for the company. So what we do is we go to fact orders and see that there is something called freight. We will use this freight to create a very simple measure. So how do we see that? We go to measure and then we say new measure, and I will first of all just create in a simple manner, and then we will see the nomenclature and all these things we will be discussing. So measure, we say, let's say we call it as revenue, or we call it as total revenue, let's say. Total revenue, and we simply say sum of freight. The way you must have done in Excel also, same technique. So we say sum, fact, order, press, enter. Right? And then what we do is we bring in this revenue over here. So automatically you will see that it creates a chart, it creates a visualization within that particular data. That is absolutely fine. Now what we do is we tend to use the concept of the calendar that we have just built. So what we do, we go to dim date, and then what we do is we bring the calendar month name to Axis. At first instance, it looks like that, okay, I have got all the names absolutely fine, and it has by default ordered based on the revenue, let's say, which is absolutely true over here. So the real problem starts when we just go here and say that, first of all, I want in ascending order. So ascending is fine. And I don't want to do it sort by revenue. I would like to sort it by the calendar name. So then it creates a problem. So now you will understand the use of calendar, the way we have created it. What is the utilization of this? So you can see that by default, so I know, you know that this is calendar month, but system doesn't know that this is calendar month. So it will take it as a name. So April, so it starts from ABCD to XYZ. So that's why it starts with April and ends at September, which is not the case that we are looking forward to. What we need to do is now a small trick. So what we need to do is we go to our calendar and we just instruct Power BI, you know what, whenever somebody, so I missed this part, please look into this. Anybody who wants to work on the name, the calendar name, so always do something, always sort it based on the number. I mean, this is the name of the month and there is a cal month also. That's the reason we have got this quarter 2 and all these day and everything. So now you will be able to relate it. So sometimes what happens is system is not able to understand the name properly. So then you have to resolve it using a number. So what we do is we take this month name and we say that we should be sorting it with some another column. So you can see in the column tools towards the right side, the last 4, if you see, right? So fourth one from the last you pick up and say that whenever somebody is sorting based on the month name, you please sort it based on the cal month, which is the number field. Nothing happens over here. Everything is fine. But what happens when you go to the report? You will see that it is now ordered based on the dates. So January till December. So when it comes to date, when it comes to working with date and time intelligence functions, there are many other functions. I am not denying that there are many other functions. So what we have done is we have a cheat sheet. This is the DAX reference, and this is by Microsoft, and all the links that you will see is from Microsoft. So if you go to date and time, so you will find all date and time functions. some of the functions which we have used, some of the functions which we might not have used. So those all things will be mentioned over there. So you can refer to this as well. So I mean, there will be other functions which you can focus on. So in this particular activity, the task majorly was to move around the measures and create a container and then build up all the measures based on that, or focusing on that particular container. So everything now is completely segregated. You can see over here, everything is segregated. So we have the measures in place, we have the dimensions in place, and we have the facts in place. Okay, so this was the part 2 of this particular module, wherein we if you talk about the details, we primarily talked about the date and time intelligence, how to achieve that within our our project, or anything that has to do with the dates, how to mitigate that. Okay, see you in part 3 of module 5.